For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
So true, never be surprised by whatever happens as far as politics is concerned, particularly in St. Lucia. Hello, welcome to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show, NewsSpin, on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. I know you're really looking forward to today's broadcast, today, Friday, and the kind of week that we have had so far as our coverage of politics is concerned. You really don't know what to expect during the course of our program today. We'll be interacting with each other. You'll be able to call at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. Amanda also will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. And never mind the kind of celebratory reaction we've been having from certain individuals and certain quarters in St. Lucia. No political party can celebrate the misfortunes of another political outfit, because this thing is in a state of flux. You go in minute and second by second and hour by hour and day by day, and some people have been calling me, to engage me in discussions on what transpired on Wednesday evening's Newsmaker Live. I was taking some calls, but in some cases, people who just want to waste my time, I've decided to save them and to save myself any kind of unnecessary argument or discussion on this issue. Because I have been doing this thing long enough to know that I've had a front seat row, and I've had occasions to discuss certain political events with people from either political party, where there was disappointment over the non-selection as far as their candidacy is concerned, whether it's for the SLP or the UWP. And it was yesterday we were discussing and made reference to what transpired in Choiseul. You remember the St. Lucia Labour Party had great difficulty in putting peace between two individuals who wanted to contest that seat on behalf of the SLP. So there was one faction that was for Dr. Poleon Antoine Prosper, another faction that was for Dr. Alphonsus St. Rose. And the general feeling, me sitting here in Castries and trying to measure the temperature over in Choiseul, I got the impression that my doc and friend St. Rose would be the chosen candidate. It wasn't so because, certain people pulled strings, things happened behind closed doors, all kind of stratagems and machinations would have been employed, and in the end, Dr. Prosper was chosen. And Dr. St. Rose was very disappointed, and he took to the airwaves. He delivered a statement on television, and that is some 4 years ago, and it's worth reminding you that what is happening to the United Workers' Party has also happened to the SLP, and it will happen to the UWP again. It will also repeat itself in the camp of the St. Lucia Labour Party. So let's take you back memory lane some 4 years ago. Let us listen to that statement that was issued by Dr. Alphonsus St. Rose.
Today, both you and I find ourselves engaged in a conversation on the new realities of our national political landscape. In times prior, my frontline was healthcare. Now, it has become the larger frontier of politics. My evolution into politics arose out of a necessity of our times, not only because of my proven ability, my passion, and what I truly believe in, but more profoundly because of the overwhelming approval, trust, and confidence of the Choiseul-Saltibus constituency at large. Thank you, my people, for your well-placed support. The demonstration of unity and strength in numbers is an undeniably powerful message. Therefore, while we must all come together on the most critical issues affecting us as a community, it must never be at the expense of our principles, core values, and our future. I believe in this in much the same way as I believe in speaking truth to power. This journey of great human connection leaves me no choice but to set the record straight with a different yet honest viewpoint, however uncomfortable that may be to some. The Choiseul-Saltibus constituency impasse must be viewed in its proper context. At the heart of the matter are the majority of the Labour constituents who, having chosen their preferred candidate as a legitimate precursor to the party's candidate selection process, were disrespected. Any imposition by leadership of a candidate arising out of a rigged, manipulated, and contaminated selection process is simply unacceptable. Most of the Labour supporters in the constituency have rejected the party's decision, which they rightly deem an assault on their freedom of choice and expression, an affront on fairness, due process, and justice. The St. Lucia Labour Party must recognize that when its choice of candidate conflicts with the choice of most of their constituency supporters, it is the will of the constituents that should prevail. Therefore, leadership has a responsibility to honestly resolve the conflict that distrust in its execution of the process of candidate selection marred in improprieties and irregularities, has caused. The integrity of the process was tainted. So any properly prescribed process in the hands of and executed by good actors is certain to guarantee a good outcome. Full public disclosure of the facts surrounding this matter is contingent upon the response of the political leadership of the St. Lucia Labour Party, if any. We contend that had the party followed the process to the letter, demonstrated strong, competent, decisive leadership to act and intervene in a fair and timely manner, with the moral courage to simply do the right thing, we would not have been consumed by this bizarre conflict. Given these set of circumstances, it was rather unfortunate for the party machinery to state, let alone lecture its constituents of the Choiseul-Saltibus constituency about what is of paramount importance to them at this time. Leadership's misrepresentation of the legitimate concerns of the constituents is troubling, to say the least. It is for this reason we insisted that the St. Lucia Labour Party handle matters properly and without reticence. We all want to see this current administration out, but it would be wrong to swap it for a replacement that is equally callous and intolerant to the views of the people. We strongly believe that leadership is not the party. They are the servants of the people. That is, for us, the big picture. Do not disrespect us or take us for granted anymore. I therefore applaud the people of Choiseul-Saltibus. For what clearer demonstration can there be of their conviction, their confidence, and courage in asking me to champion their cause and to restore their respect, their dignity, and the honor that was denied them by representing them on an independent ticket at the next general elections. This framework, initiated and driven by the constituents of Labour, will define them differently from what has existed for 41 years since independence. And this is a no one left behind transformative agenda that embraces political maturity, inclusivity, empowerment, independent thought, and equality of opportunity for you, the people, all in the setting of a national, non-partisan, and people-driven context. This is ground zero. The fight being for free expression of constituents' choices in relation to the issues that matter most to them. We speak of the shared interests of quality representation, their survival, their sustainability, their values, and their future. Politics cannot be divorced from the people. Power resides in your vote, which must define you better than mere hostages for the removal of a candidate or a government from office. It is your right and civic responsibility to vote, but do it as a free expression of your choice, in good conscience, driven by a sense of purpose and with a measure of value to it. We denounce any attempt to weaponize your vote against you simply for expressing your constitutional right of free choice. This is not who we are, and we deserve better. So vote for a change of the policies that do not make you a priority in your country. Vote for a change of the policies that are designed to keep you poor and unequal. Vote for a change of the policies designed to outsource your future. Vote for a change of the policies that offers your national assets to anyone as gifts or handouts in which you are neither a shareholder nor a partner. Our simple objective is to effect real change that impacts your daily lives meaningfully and restores trust, fairness, and confidence in our democratic system so it works in the best interest of all the citizens. Thank you, Chozelle, for your maturity, your sincerity, your passion, and a broader sense of national purpose. I am humbled that you have asked me to represent your values, your expectations, and your aspirations. So I pledge to you my commitment to working with you and to serve your best interests always. Meanwhile, we will lead the charge and cast that vote for change across political lines. Change must come, for we do not have another 41 years to wait. We will walk this journey together and present to the people of this country the compelling example of an alternative paradigm for transparency, accountability, good governance, and democracy. This bottom-up approach for progress is different, if only to send a powerful message that this is your time. It's the people's time.
Now, this is not a recent statement. This one was delivered some 4 years ago, just before the 2021 general election, delivered by Dr. Alphonsus St. Rose. At the time, he was seeking to become the St. Lucia Labour Party candidate for Chozelle Saltibus. There was a debacle. There's a lot of arguments, and you have different camps, one supporting Dr. Poleon Prosper and another supporting Dr. St. Rose. In the end, the former was selected and she contested the seat unsuccessfully against Bradley Felix. Somebody is just sending me a WhatsApp message saying, one thing, you spinning well. It's not spinning. If that's what the pitch is going to take, if I'm going to be successful in terms of taking wickets, preventing the batsman from bowling and dislodging me all over the place, I will spin. So there's a time for spin and there's a time for pace. But realistically, we just want to create some balance and don't give the impression that those internal wranglings and disagreements only occur within the camp of the SLP or the UWP. So the candidate selection process is one that is fraught with a lot of challenges because people go into this thing with a lot of emotions and they want the individual deemed to be the right individual, the right person to win a particular seat. They want that person to be chosen. And when you have 2 or 3 individuals in a contest, therefore, there will be a feuding, there will be disagreements, and somehow people get a little bit loose with their tongues. Calling a talk show while another individual is on and making certain statements. Let's open the lines right now to take your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. And of course, Amanda will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. Something we have to take note of. As much as we claim to be an independent nation, it has been demonstrated time after time that we are answerable to certain institutions that have been set up, presumably, to work in our interest. But a lot of what they prescribe very often is not to the benefit of the masses, not to the benefit of ordinary solutions, because they would ask you to cut on, for example, subsidies on matters relating to provision to individuals, unemployment benefits, and things of that nature, and invest in social programs. I'd like you to cut on those while investing in a number of other areas that will not touch the lives of ordinary St. Lucians. And those institutions I'm making reference to would be the World Bank and also the International Monetary Fund. They tell us, they set certain prescriptions and certain guidelines. If we do not adhere to them, then, we'll be penalized by way of not receiving certain loans and certain grants as well. So the International Monetary Fund has urged the St. Lucia government to implement major tax reforms, including raising value-added tax VAT, introducing a tax on sweetened drinks, and phasing out excessive tax exemptions that erode revenue. Now, the phasing out of excessive tax exemptions, for example, on foreign direct investors, people want to come into St. Lucia and set up businesses, whether it's the construction of a hotel and other establishments and so on. One can understand that, because sometimes I believe what is being provided to those establishments or those investors are just too generous. Talking about sometimes 40-year exemptions, 50-year exemptions, and so on. That is definitely at the expense of having the necessary resources at your disposal to provide better health care to the people of your country. For example, providing the necessary resources and training to your police to maintain law and order in your country, to make investment in the education system. But we have a difficulty whereby very often small island states like St. Lucia, they tend to give in to those institutions. And so this administration may very well decide to increase VAT to 15, 16, maybe 17%. And it may not happen before the upcoming general election. It may happen after. And that is a possibility. And that is an issue that both political parties will have to address. This current administration, as to whether it will give in to the International Monetary Fund and increase VAT from 12.5%, and also the United Workers' Party has to give a clear commitment as to whether it will increase VAT. That is on the advice of the International Monetary Fund. 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. What's happening in the chat room, Amanda? I don't know if you have anything to report right now.
Yes, I may have quite a few comments. A commentary reads, team have files like the State Department and Pentagon put together. A NewsSpin says there, the will of the constituent should prevail, let that sink in. Another comment reads, my people of St. Lucia, learn to read and understand. Please do not let anyone or politician control and brainwash you all. St. Lucia is too small for that kind of hatred for the sake of politics. Someone says there, well said, Dr. St. Rose. The political parties need to do the right thing, responsible and respectfully. A commentary reads, leadership is not the party, they are the servants of the party. Let that sink in as well. A NewsSpinner says there, to me, this guy should have led the SLP, not Philip J. Pierre. The man making PJP look like a first grader. LOL. Another commentary reads, so partner acknowledged that there was no headship from inception. Someone says there regarding St. Rose, where has Mate and his passion gone to? Another commentary reads, Tim, the fact is UWP are being too immature with the candidate selection process. SLP has their drama but handles it properly like a real government. And NewsSpinner says there, so... Okay. No, that was from yesterday. Okay, that's it, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Some more updates coming up during the course of our program, 452-2979. Let's see if we have a call on the line while I go through your WhatsApp messages. Somebody says that, Tim, do you know if the toilets for the custody suites have arrived so that the 2-year construction could finally be completed? I don't have the response to this, and maybe at the next pre-cabinet press briefing, the Prime Minister or the relevant minister will be able to provide you with a response. We have a call. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Timothy. Good afternoon, Amanda.
Good afternoon to you, caller. Good afternoon.
Just listening to you speaking on the VAT issue. From the World Bank, you said?
The IMF.
The IMF. Now, you know why we reached in that position, Timothy? Because
Tell me.
right now, both of the political parties, their hands will decide, right, to impose that more taxes on the back of the people. The reason we are going through that is because of Philip Pierre. The way he came in there and he started doing things vice. They refused to listen to what the opposition leader was telling them. They refused to govern the country properly. Again, we know the SLP believes in taxation. That is them. Because they do not work their way to ease the economy for anybody. We all know that. Okay? And if St. Lucian did not go with the nonsense in 2021, today we wouldn't be going through that taxing and overtaxing of the poor people by the government of St. Lucia. Because if you watch it, Tim, in 2016, the opposition, when they were in government, they came and they told the people that they would do the deduction on the VAT. Remember that? They came, they kept their promise, they brought it down. Right? At the end of it all, we got an ease. Money started circulating in our country. Things was happening. The poor people started spending. Because with the VAT, when you put up the VAT, that takes the spending power away from the poor people and it increased more poverty. Mr. Shasta did that when he was Prime Minister. He gave us the break. We saw the prices drop in the country. He told the people of St. Lucia, if you leave me there, I'm going to reduce on the taxes again. Bring it down. But since St. Lucians are not taking the interest of what is happening in the country, the people are the ones causing what is going to hit them. And you said it well. The government, the SLP government will not bring that taxes in front of that election day. They will wait, they will monitor. If they lose, if they happen to lose the election, then the UWP now will not have any they will not have to think twice. Maybe they may have to raise it like the IMF is telling them. Or if it's Labour that come in, they will just do it one time and they will come and preach more nonsense to the people again. We didn't have a choice. Because of your wrongdoing to the people, you all came there and you all lied to the people. Philip Pierre took loans and lying to the people of St. Lucia. So that makes your debt higher. So you have to be putting the taxes on the backs of the people for them to pay all the money that you are borrowing uselessly. Money being squandered in the country. Nothing is happening. And it's the poor people that are supporting you that will pay for it. But God forbid, they will lose the election and they will see what true governance is all about. And who cares about the poor people of this country, Timothy? Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much for calling. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. 716-2026. Let me see if I have a WhatsApp message. It reads, good day. We need to let the citizens know that they should take any and all money that this government is giving now, whether in the form of increased pensions, back pay, bonus, because it's all our tax money. It's not a favor. But ensure that they vote them out, because if they don't, we are guaranteed to have increased taxes if they are re-elected to make back the money they paid, because that's the only way they know how to generate revenue, and that is through taxation. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. 716-2026. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hey Tim, good afternoon. Amanda, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, Tim. I wanna. I haven't read that IMF statement that you read out on the program. On what grounds is the IMF asking or requesting the more tax on the people.
Basically, what they're saying is that we're not generating sufficient income from a number of areas by giving too many concessions. People are paying little VAT. The 12.5% is not enough against that background. And certainly that could assist with increasing economic growth on the island.
Okay. But, Tim, I think the IMF have it wrong. And I will tell you why the IMF have it wrong. Throughout the Caribbean, this IMF have been governing all those islands. What better have those islands become with all these advices they have been given to those leaders? Not much growth we have seen, Tim. Not much at all. Most of the people on the islands are still poor or below the poverty line. Why wouldn't the IMF suggest that the revenue that was being generated from the ports being given back to the treasury, so that the treasury could actually put in more money there? Because that's a lot of revenue being lost, Tim. You know, why should it be the taxpayers that should be paying more when the actual asset was taken and given to an entity to be control of their monies? Tim, when I really look at the IMF, the IMF is not in the interest of the Caribbean. And I have looked at a lot of the decisions those guys have taken over the years as to the suggestions they have been making, and it doesn't work for our islands. You find we have so much to offer, but yet still we're not offering anything.
Well, the IMF need to address issues like, for example, corruption in those islands. I'm not referring specifically to St. Lucia, but corruption in various forms.
Precisely.
And also wastage as well. When you tell me that, for example, you have projects that have to be undertaken or continued, those projects are put on hold. Then you have those projects, they're a result of a loan. Then you have to pay the loan on that particular project, which has been abandoned. And when you revisit that project, you need more money to get it going. So those are the issues that we really need to address.
Exactly. And when you look at it, Tim, in the Caribbean islands, you find there are billions a year. Every year, billions of dollars have been wasted because of what? You know, because of the incompetence of our leaders too. You know, so the IMF, I must say thank you, but no thanks, because you cannot be calling for more hardship on the citizenry after all they've been going through. Like, who are we looking for here? Are we in the interest of the people, or are we in the interest of those that are governing the people? Because what I just heard there from the IMF, they are in the interest of these politicians, and not the actual people that work hard on the island to earn ends meet. Tim, we need to really look at ourselves, and I heard you mention about we being independent. Tim, every time I listen to the program or even other programs, and I hear people talk about independence. Tim, there is no country in this world that is independent. All these countries are dependent on each other one way or another. That's how the world is, you know. And if we keep thinking that we can isolate ourselves to survive, my brother, we're already doomed. You know, we're too small. And even though the big almighty US that is trying the same thing right now with Canada, stating that they don't need Canada to basically survive, I need you to take a look at what's happening to some of their businesses already. Not that the Canadians will not feel it, because again, we also depend on them too for certain things. But they depend heavily on what we have, you know. So we need to be very careful as to when we mention independence. Thank you very much, Tim.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for that contribution. 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Somebody says there, this government is smart enough to come up with policies to skillfully generate income or to import it other than taxing the poor people. Where are the plans to stir up economic activity? And imagine we could have had 1.4 billion US dollars, but up to now this government cannot tell us. And sadly, they keep mismanaging our assets like selling our ports. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Okay, let's see. We have a call. Hello, good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Timothy Poleon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Timothy, the road up north, it stopped. They have to pay the people. Hospital stop. Whatever money they have to pay the people. Housing development, they stop it. They have to pay the people. They have to go and break over again to pay another set of people, another set of money. Them ministers, and I want to knock on Mr. Richard Frederick this afternoon. Only talking about his Shastney. When I try to do something constructive about him, to tell us in St. Lucia about what he can do for us for Central Castries, where he could bring us, is about Shastney. Shastney not in power. Is SLP that in power. Gouvernement T-Papier that in power. Gouvernement T-Papier. That's the way I see it, Because they're doing nothing for the poor people. It's poor of the poor. That's how we going down all the time. So that's why they're knocking the door on us. Waterfront, where tourists coming in, you're giving people that, where we making our money. You do expect IMF Kevin Aleno? They must come on us. You understand? Them fellas they care. Them fellas getting their salary. Who building house? Who doing this? Who doing that? The fellas they care. Election coming around the corner again, they pass, they give everybody a little free piece of chicken, a little drink, and wait. What for Labour? And sometimes Labour win again. But this time around, Labour have to come good. Because the people opening their eyes. And we have another tax coming in our back again very soon. Just what you will see. Good afternoon, Mr. Timothy Poleon.
Good afternoon, sir. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. We'll continue to take your calls and go through your WhatsApp messages in just a moment. First, quick delivery office along the Monjuro Highway next to the barber shop is having a huge damaging thin set sale this Saturday, March the 22nd. Of course, that's tomorrow. Regular gray thin set $20 per bag. All-purpose white thin set $40 per bag. Great deals on coral tiles too. Sale starts from 9 o'clock in the morning and end at 3 in the afternoon. Call them at 719-3278. 719-3278 for more information.
KFC has done it again! Introducing the Wow Box, the ultimate meal deal that'll have you saying wow! For just $23, you get one crispy, juicy KFC sandwich, one piece of finger-licking good chicken, a serving of hot golden fries, more flavor, more crunch, more wow, all in one box! Hurry to KFC and grab yours now! Dine in, drive through, or order online at kfcslu.com. KFC, it's finger-licking good!
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, or send an email to customersupport@lucelec.com for assistance. Lucelec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
I've seen you here before, and I have something special just for you. What have we here? Happy housewarming to me? That's the MNC Home Depot Rewards Card. You'll earn points every time you shop, plus exclusive savings and promotions just for you. Just for me? Yes, just for you. Shop in store or online and enjoy a seamless experience. So I get to treat myself every time I shop? Exactly. It's time to reward yourself.
MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt Rewards Card. Sign up and reward yourself today at www.mnchomedepot.com.
So fast pay, a new and easy way to pay. So fast pay, so fast pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
So fast pay, 2 minutes and you're on your way. So fast pay, so fast pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Are you tired of going from doctor to doctor, spending time and money, yet still not getting the answers you need? Now, at La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence, we bring you the latest in medical technology, our state-of-the-art radiation-free full-body MRI. With unmatched accuracy, we can detect illnesses early, giving you the answers you deserve and the treatment you need, saving lives and saving money. No doctor referral needed. Results in just 24 to 48 hours. Plus, a free consultation with a doctor to explain all your results in detail. Don't wait. Take advantage of this special offer and book your full body MRI at our Cocoville, Rodney Bay, or Castries locations. Call 451-6559 now. La Clinique du Corps. Your health is our priority.
Essie, don't tell me that tire flat again. I just changed that tire.
Wait, what? You just changed that tire?
Well, I bought a used one because you didn't give me enough money.
Oh, I see. Well, you know what? Chivi's Tire Shop only carry brand new quality tires at affordable prices with free installation.
Hey, it seems you're working at Chivi's Tire Shop. How you know all that?
Come on, Brenda. The tire shop down the road from our home in the American Drywall Building.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Well, you know what, Patrick? Let's go there right now. Take your wallet. Let's go.
Chivi's Tire Shop, located at the American Drywall Building, Vic Bouteille. Call or WhatsApp 584-5986. Chivi's Tire Shop. Pay less, drive more.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
This is the world's most monitored talk show, NewsSpin, on Power 97.9 FM, the NewsSpin Facebook page, as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. The Police Welfare Association and the government negotiating team are yet to settle this issue, and that is over certain benefits, fringe benefits, salary increases, and so on. And one wonders, considering the important role that the police play in maintaining law and order in our country, why the authorities, the government negotiating team, and by extension, the Prime Minister certainly could intervene, the Minister with responsibility for national security, to ensure that this issue is finalized. Because I think it's a bit risky. To a certain extent, it's also taking the police for granted by ignoring the important role that they play as far as maintaining law and order in this country. You cannot have a police force where people are feeling disgruntled, feeling disrespected and ignored, while the government negotiating team and those responsible, they are just biding the time on this particular matter. Imagine, I think all the trade unions involved in the negotiations, they have settled, but the matter involving the PWA and the GNT continues to be in abeyance. I think that is a very risky move, and you could sense the frustration on the part of the police. One individual did call NewsSpin earlier this week to express his concern.
It is not the police keeping things behind. We've been very, if you look at the proposals that the police have been putting forward, have been very understanding. If we have a situation that, look, it's not going to benefit us, why should we take it for our people and allow them to go free at the end of the day for all of us to regret and come back to it? That doesn't make sense. We're just saying whoever is trying to use those delay tactics is not working, and it's going to be worse for the country. Right now, you have things coming up. You have jazz, you have carnival, you have budget, you have so many things coming up, and you play around with the police. You had an independence parade, and everybody was afraid the police don't come. The police still came. Stop playing around with the police. Let's get this thing over and done with. We don't have no defense force. You have no army. The fire service cannot do what police is supposed to be doing if the police don't come to work. Stop playing with the police. It's time for this thing to come to an end. Okay, it's frustrating police officers, and police officers that some of them are genuinely not well. Okay, we want police officers to be coming to work and doing what they're supposed to be doing. No translation for police to go home night time. When they're working at 11 o'clock, sitting by the road waiting for bus, they have no system in place for us. Let us do what we're supposed to do to get the thing over and done with. Stop playing with it. Look at your negotiation team. If there are some people that have other motives, get them out, get new people in, do what you're supposed to do, but let's be over and done with this thing. Too much time is wasted on that.
Caller to NewsSpin earlier this week, and also the president of the Police Welfare Association, Mr. Cameron Law, has also been speaking on the issue as well. Earlier this week, he spoke with DBS Television.
We're hoping to meet with the commissioner at the soonest possible time. Our letter should have been with him. It should have arrived at his desk yesterday, and so we're expecting at least next week meet with the commissioner so that we could sit and look at the hours of work and times of work of a police officer and overtime as it relates to the job. So this is where we are, but negotiations continue, and we're hoping in the near future, very, very near future, to conclude negotiations with the government negotiating team. I don't know that police have been on strike. I don't know any of that. Police officers, as long as they're on the job, will continue as much as possible to be productive, and we always encourage police officers to be productive. So that's just the situation as it is now, as we continue to fight for overtime.
Just heard there from the president of the Police Welfare Association, Mr. Cameron Law. Let's take a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Good afternoon.
Tim, good.
Hi, good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you. Hello?
Bring up fast, Tim.
Yes, go ahead, please.
I'm aware that... Yeah, Tim, you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
Tim, I'm aware that the House of Justice... Yes, sir. I'm hearing you. Tim, I'm aware that the Hall of Justice is not going to be constructed immediately north of the cathedral. Are you aware?
No, I've not heard anything to that extent.
So I've been reliably informed that the new location of the Halls of Justice would be against the old education building onto the Voyagers lot. So it's across the road. It's going across that short lane there behind the bank that goes to the back of the bank. And it's no longer going to go across Library Street as originally set out. So that means two things.
It's basically between, it'll be the corner of Library Street and the boulevard.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that takes it into a new perspective, Tim. One, there's an additional cost because I understood the Voyager site had to be acquired at the cost of over $17 million. So that's not taken into account the cost of the building. also, Tim, I'm aware that that side is smaller. The actual location would be smaller than the original location. Would you agree?
Yes, from my vantage point, it would appear so.
Okay, so why are we not told so? And this is not a decision today, today Friday. I'm understanding that was a decision made a couple of months ago. So why isn't the government telling the people those things?
Well, let's put it this way, caller.
Why?
You have made this particular claim. We're waiting for confirmation from the relevant authorities. Of course, that would in particular involve the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. So we cannot take what you say there as a fact. Let us wait to hear from the Prime Minister if he is in a position to confirm. Yes.
I agree, but I tell you, I'm not somebody when I tell you something, Tim. You don't have to go and fact check that. Huh? But let me tell you, the other one, Tim. I saw a video where Mr. Ile is actually detailing the number of files sold to his audience in Dubai. The exact information we asked him that I've said openly to our people in St. Lucia. Now I have to vomit it in over 5,000 piles. Did you get that video?
I've seen the video.
Now, Tim, if you observe that video was not taken, that video was taken from somebody in the audience. From the angle it was taken. So I suspect very well that probably Mr. Martinez was in that audience, Boy, you never know who you're playing with.
I don't think, no. If that video is legit, and we have to say if, these days with AI and how people can manipulate things, if that video is legit, if it was taken at a particular meeting anywhere in the international community, I do not believe that Martinez would be in attendance. Do you think he would have been allowed to enter the conference room where this exercise or this meeting was taking place?
I was just saying it was him. I was just being sarcastic.
Okay.
But I tell you, these guys have long hands, Those guys are not me and you.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys have big wigs. So, but look at the angular videos taken. If you have it properly, watch it.
Yeah,
we'll see it was not taken from a reporter.
If it was legit, it was taken in a kind of clandestine, kind of secretive kind of way,
Oh, yeah. Well... But you never know what spies are wrong, Tim. But anyway, those are the two issues. I'm hoping that Mr. Ile can clarify that when he comes home, if the clip is legitimate.
Right.
And just to touch on Mr. Ile to finish with him. The Dominican riots, Tim. I notice you have not featured that at all in your programs for the week. I wonder what Mr. Ile has to say about those riots in Dominica now. Because he was very clear where it was planned the last time, Probably it was planned in St. Lucia again.
No, this time
not by UWP.
This time, I for sure it was planned in Dominica. This one was planned in Dominica.
It was. Oh, that one. You sure about that?
Yeah,
you sure about that, Tim?
Yeah, it was planned in Dominica.
No, well. Okay. Well, probably when he comes back, he might give a different opinion on that. Thank you, Tim.
Okay.
Have a good day.
You too, sir. 452-2979. Let's see if you have a call on the landline. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let me go through your WhatsApp message. What are you saying there? Okay, let me see again. If we have a call. All right, we have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello? Let's try again. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Okay, this call is reconnecting. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, Tim. How are you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm okay. How about you?
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, please, caller.
Hello, Tim.
Yes, ma'am. I could hear you now.
Yes, I was telling you, Tim, from some time, either you can hear me, Tim?
Loud and clear.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, please.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Yes, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Either sometime sometime before the Christmas or early this year, I understood there was a meeting with the Catholic Church and some other stakeholders.
Yes.
And they decided that they're not going to build the halls of justice where it is now. They're putting it across the road, and that is reliable information.
Okay, so
And
if this is true,
it's
caller,
maybe about a couple months now since they decided, but I don't know why. But that is reliable. I don't know why it's not out. But they're not going to be building it. The church, they wasn't. A lot of the stakeholders were not in favor of it.
but if this is true, why this has not been communicated to the people of St. Lucia? Are you there, caller? Okay.
Yes.
What I'm saying to you, if this is true, why that kind of information has not been communicated to the people of St. Lucia? Okay, well, that's a caller. I mean, talking about having a sword-turning ceremony and being adamant that this is where the halls of justice will be constructed. And if there's been a change as far as the decision to construct that building and the location is concerned, this should have been communicated to the people of St. Lucia forthwith. Because governments ought to know right now that things do not remain a secret. Somehow it will be leaked, and then that information will find its way in the public domain, and people will begin to speculate, etc. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim. Are you hearing me?
Loud and clear, Mr. Guy Joseph. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, Tim. I was just calling in relation to two matters that I heard that was highlighted earlier. The matter of the correspondence from the IMF.
Yes, caller.
Yes, the IMF is saying that we are required to raise the VAT further than it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tim, this is not something new. And I think when Honorable Alan Shasney was Prime Minister, we dealt with that matter. There was the same recommendation, but in this instance, it was that we could not reduce the VAT. You remember that discussion?
I can recall, yes, I can recall.
So the IMF can make recommendations, and I want to clarify what one of your callers said. The IMF can make recommendations, but they cannot impose on a country that you must increase your taxes. Now, what we need to guard ourselves against is whether the present government is going to take a loan from the IMF, a loan that has stipulated conditions that would force you to have to increase. You remember what happened with the 2.5%, Tim?
Mm-hmm.
Where the government gave us the impression that it was a health and security levy, and it was in response to the issue of a loan that they were taking, and that was a requirement to qualify to get that loan. I think it was from CDB. So prime ministers and ministers of finance have a responsibility to be upfront and honest with the people of the country. We have not seen that from the Philip J. Pierre administration, because you only learn about these things afterwards. You never really get to know upfront. So there is what we call policy-based loan. And if the government was to take a policy-based loan, then that is when we would be in a situation where you are almost forced to implement the tax. I know that when Alan Shasney was Prime Minister and the IMF and the World Bank said you cannot reduce the VAT, and we said we were going ahead to reduce the VAT, there was some money that was available in the country, but we could not spend it for a whole year because we had to wait and show that our policy of reducing the VAT would pay off. And after we reduced the VAT, team, in a year and a half, we were collecting more money at the 12.5% than we were at the 15%. Now, team, I don't know what the discussions were with the IMF, but I got news long before the IMF had any discussions. We on the UWP platform have been speaking about the plan to raise the VAT by 2%. We fought removing the 2.5%. So in essence, team, the taxes would go in excess of 17.5% on VAT by the time you would add the levy. It is the plan of the Labour Party to balance the upcoming budget that a recommendation was made to the Ministry of Finance to raise the VAT by 2%. But this 2% is coming against the backdrop to pay for healthcare. But team, so what is the 2.5% for? Wasn't the 2.5% to pay for healthcare? So why are we required to pay an additional 2% for healthcare or health insurance, as they put it? So I'm saying here that as long as I am part of a UWP government coming into office, that will not go up. That will go down on the UWP, not upward. And that is the plan of the United Workers' Party to deal with this matter. We do not plan to increase VAT on the people of St. Lucia. We want all St. Lucians to be fully aware that what we have proposed to do is to possibly reduce the VAT and not increase it. Until not, I'm saying possibly, because all our plans are to show that we want to reduce the VAT. But we don't know what kind of commitments this government is making in the process. And I think that the Minister of Finance, and I'm looking forward to the budget. It is interesting, Tim, that his budget this Tuesday coming. Have you heard anything on this, Tim?
No, I haven't heard any. I think it's by next week or week after, thereabout.
But nothing is in circulation.
I have not received, we have not received any notice of this.
Yes, there's nothing in circulation to indicate that the budget is around the corner. I am looking forward to hear what the policy pronouncements are going to be. But if the government continues to borrow recklessly, and as a caller said earlier, I have a serious issue with the IMF and the World Bank. Because when they come and they do an assessment of the country, if the government does not give them permission to release the assessment, they cannot. What kind of independence is this? What kind of arrangement that if an international entity, so you are telling me that if I engage an entity to do an audit of a company, that the truth cannot be told to the shareholders of the company if the management does not permit you to. So what we are seeing there from the government, and that happens, both governments have the same leverage and latitude to determine what aspect of the report would be released. Now, I think that the IMF and the World Bank, as independent governing institutions globally, they should be the ones to decide what they are releasing and when they are releasing it, so that the people of the country can know for a fact that the information they are receiving is reliable, is dependable. Tim, we cannot take any more taxes in this country. How can the government give away $400 million US from our ports over the next 40 years, and you going to come in, that's over $1 billion EC, and you going to come and increase tax on the people of St. Lucia to meet your government obligations? Tim, that is not acceptable, and a UWP government coming into office will change that policy. We are not going to increase VAT on the people of St. Lucia, and we are going to review what is happening at our ports in St. Lucia, and all the money that have gone missing, we have to find out where these monies are. And they said about Hill said in Dubai. So, Tim, maybe when your reporters question him, we need to ask him whether Galaxy gave him permission to speak in Dubai, and he has not been given permission to speak in St. Lucia. I thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. I just got some information that somebody says that somebody who's supposed to be reliable, the person said that the budget speech will be delivered by the Prime Minister 5 p.m. on the 25th of March. We have a government minister online. Hello. Good afternoon to you, sir. This is NewsSpin, and you are on the air.
Good afternoon, TP.
Good afternoon, Mr. Minister.
How are you?
I'm all right.
I just felt sometimes, they always say if inaccurate information hits the mind or the ears of persons, and it is not refuted with due immediacy, it goes down the annals of belief. And I speak in relation to the halls of justice.
Yes.
I heard a contribution from one of your callers saying that we had bought land for $17 million. I want to let St. Lucians know categorically that this is an untrue statement, and I will tell you exactly what happened. The halls of justice, after it was announced and we were on suite to do what we were supposed to have done, there were reservations expressed not only by the Catholic Church, but by other members of the legal fraternity. And out of deference to the legal fraternity, we figured that, there's an old saying that the way Sevel plihu pasi zowe, zowe plihu pasi bush. So in other words, notwithstanding your own personal conviction, you must listen and take on board the concerns of others before you proceed. Now, you would remember, team, I'm sure you remember, but sometimes I know you prefer to forget out of convenience. You would remember that Alan Shastley had asked the Archbishop one time to apologize. We are not doing that. We are not that kind of government. I'm not in a government led by a man who does not understand what it is to listen to the cry of the people, whoever those people are. And so when the Archbishop, when the Catholic Church, first of all, expressed concern over the location in terms of the proximity to our main church in Central Castries, the cathedral that is, there were several meetings, government representatives of the legal fraternity, persons from DCA, persons across the board were there at least to offer some kind of advice to the decision-making body. The government, that was not then taken to cabinet. Cabinet listened and cabinet understood what the cry was. I'm sure you will understand that even the leader of the opposition himself, he was one who himself was creating rancor in terms of the location of the building in relation to the church. So cabinet decided, look, our legal fraternity is one that we respect as a government. We don't want to get into any kind of fights with them. Let us take on board what the concerns are and let us adjust accordingly. As fate would have it, a Judas property became available and we were asked to make an offer. Cabinet decided, look, let us respect the church and let us amend the drawings to facilitate the establishment of the halls of justice in that location. I can tell you that no deal has been sealed, none whatsoever, Fallis price, but the decision has been taken to move forward with negotiations with a view of acquiring the asset for the government and people of St. Lucia. Not for a private entity, but for the government and people of St. Lucia. In that way, government is happy, people will be happy, and the legal fraternity, of course, will understand that this is a government that respects their wishes and their views and would not ask them to apologize. So this is what transpired. I don't want to know. I want to know if there's anything you want to ask me in relation to that. I'm prepared to answer.
I just wanted to find out why the government has not come forward to provide that information to the people of the country. Because
the deal has not been sealed, Tim.
No, even the decision to relocate the building.
No, the decision, listen, Tim, it was, like I said, the plans have been approved by the Development Control Authority. So it's not a situation, if we are a hard-headed government, we can proceed. If we are a government that don't listen, we can proceed. But we are not like that.
What I'm saying to you, Minister, the decision has been taken not to construct the House of Justice at the location where it was intended to be constructed, right?
That is, put it this way, everything is still on the table with negotiations. If, for example, Judah tomorrow will say, we offer 3. I'm being hypothetical here.
Yeah.
I'm being hypothetical. And let your listeners know hypothetical means that's not the truth. It is just an example because they will run and say, I said.
I have a bright audience. You don't have to explain that. You don't have to explain that.
Thanks for having confidence in them. But I know a lot of times a lot of times you are deflated. You are deflated with disappointment.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. I have a bright audience.
No. So I'm saying, if for example we say we offer 3 million and Arjuna says I want 100 million, then there is impracticability in terms of the execution of the project. It just makes it, almost impossible to proceed.
Right.
So I believe at the right time, when all I's are dotted and T's are crossed, an announcement will be made on this development in terms of letting the people know. But obviously we are taking, imagine team, I don't have all of that to say. There were proposals about even moving the building, leave it where it is and pushing it further away from the church. So that was another contingent plan. But nothing has been, because what they were saying is the proximity of the building to the church is what probably they had a difficulty with. Now, if you can find a way of getting around it, but obviously one of the options is to buy that asset for the state and to execute accordingly. So at the right time, when the decision is concretized, when we say we pay X amount, everything is still in the negotiating train, so we can't say that train has not come to its station yet. So it's nothing you can say that you can announce with any degree of certainty at this time. But obviously, government in contemplation or an out of deference to the legal fraternity, we are doing whatever we can to ensure that we don't upset anybody whilst we still proceed on the developmental pattern that this country has embarked upon since July 2021.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for the clarification. Just so there from Castries Central MP and Local Government Minister, Mr. Richard Frederick. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and we prove it every day.
Lucilec's remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, or send an email to customersupport@lucelec.com for assistance. Lucelec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
St. Lucia, KFC has the crunch with our all-new strips and dip. 3 crispy, golden brown chicken strips, hot fries, a buttery biscuit, a refreshing 16-ounce Coca-Cola, all for $25. Hurry to KFC and dive into the dip life today.
Dip, dip, and dip. Your chicken strips in no dip, 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 and dip. Barbecue buffalo dip, ranch, honey mustard dip. KFC got all dips.
Order now at kfcslu.com or WhatsApp 484-0400. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Are you tired of going from doctor to doctor, spending time and money, yet still not getting the answers you need? Now, at La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence, we bring you the latest in medical technology, our state-of-the-art radiation-free full-body MRI. With unmatched accuracy, we can detect illnesses early, giving you the answers you deserve and the treatment you need, saving lives and saving money. No doctor referral needed. Results in just 24 to 48 hours. Plus, a free consultation with a doctor to explain all your results in detail. Don't wait. Take advantage of this special offer and book your full body MRI at our Cocoville, Rodney Bay, or Castries locations. Call 451-6559 now. La Clinique du Corps. Your health is our priority.
I've seen you here before, and I have something special just for you. What have we here? Happy housewarming to me? That's the MNC Home Depot Rewards Card. You'll earn points every time you shop, plus exclusive savings and promotions just for you.
Just for me?
Yes, just for you. Shop in store or online and enjoy a seamless experience.
So I get to treat myself every time I shop?
Exactly. It's time to reward yourself.
MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt Rewards Card. Sign up and reward yourself today at www.mnchomedepot.com.
Taco Thursdays at Senior Snapper from Thursday 13th February 2025 and every Thursday.
St. Lucia, your Thursdays just got a whole lot better. After work, there's only one place to be. Taco Thursdays at Senor Snapper Seafood Grill and Margarita Bar.
In Cruisley Town, that is Marie Therese Street.
Live DJ, fresh tacos, and island vibes. What more do you need? Tacos for just $10 plus 2-for-1 margaritas and mojitos to keep the good times flowing.
Thursdays is Taco Thursdays at Senor Snapper.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. We have a call via WhatsApp. Hello and good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello.
Hi, Timothy. Alan Chastity here. How are you?
Hi, I'm okay.
Hi, Timothy.
Yes, good afternoon to Mr. Leader of the Opposition.
Hi, Tim.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Hello?
Yes, I can
Hello?
hear you.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, please. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay. First of all, is your last caller, the minister. Now, the minister has a habit, as I have indicated in the past, of speaking half-truths. So I don't understand how, on one hand, he's saying that the halls of justice had planning approval. So much so, they went through with a groundbreaking, and they defended what I consider to be indefensible of what they were doing and the cost of what they were doing. But put that aside for a moment. So you're telling me that the planning process, which we know includes an environmental impact study and also a social impact study, would not have had conversations with the church and the legal fraternity and everybody else who would have been involved in this and whose opinion the minister is now seeing is of value? Because it didn't. They were proceeding to do this on their own. And it is those persons that demanded to have a voice. And I want to really congratulate and acknowledge the work that Sarah Flood Broburn in particular did by bringing this issue and the risk that was being placed upon the structural integrity of the church and also the diminishing of the importance of the Catholic Church. And how is that? By having a building that was going to be even tall. Location. Now the minister wants us to believe that, they're looking in now at alternatives. And one of those alternatives is to go to the Ajuda building, which is where the old Gaiety Theater, for those persons who may not have remembered or who are old enough to remember the Gaiety Theater being in that location. The minister himself has on previous occasions indicated that the cost of land in Castries is now $1,000 a square foot. That site is somewhere between 15 or 20,000 square feet. So you're talking anywhere between $15 and $20 million that would be added to the cost of the project just by getting that property. And the question I ask, the concerns that the church has with regards to the structural integrity by having the piling that's taking place there and a building of that size and the congestion it's going to create in town, does that make sense? And this is what this government refuses to deal with. So I'm hoping that solutions will keep their eyes open and also the ears open to hear how this government is going to want to justify the massive problem that they have created and the lies that they have now told. It could not have DC approval if, in fact, it did not include meeting with all those persons, and all of this could have been averted if they had done that. The second issue I want to bring up and is to reiterate what Guy Joseph said about the IMF. The IMF is a formidable organization with very talented people and seek to give countries the best advice possible. Sometimes the difficulty I have is they have what I call one size to fit all, meaning that they don't adjust for the issues taking place in our country. And as such, when I became the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance, and we felt that the country was overtaxed and it was impacting the consumption, meaning that people did not have money in their pocket. Because when we came into office in 2016, Tim, if you and your audience remember, unemployment was 25%. People were struggling. People were losing their homes because there was not enough money in circulation. And we fought with the IMF and said, no, we believe the taxation on individual solutions must come down. And that's why not only did we lower the VAT rate to 12.5%, but we also stopped having to pay property tax on a temporary basis until the economy was prepared to introduce that tax. The IMF disagreed. So I agreed that we would continue with our program, but we would not spend the money that we were going to get from the airport tax. They also complained that when we put the tax on the gas of $1.50, that was going to create inflation. After 1 year, we saw that tourism grew by 11%. There was no inflation. And what they had projected that would have been a loss of income from reducing the VAT, they were projecting a $60 million loss. We only had a $15 million loss in the first year. And within 18 months, meaning an additional 6 months, we actually were earning just as much money with 12.5% as we were with 15%. So what that tells you is that people were spending money and the economy was starting to turn over. If our government comes in, we do not believe, well, we believe right now that the country is being overtaxed. And he's 100% right that our administration is indicated that it will freeze taxes, we will eliminate the 2.5% tax, and we will continue with the objective of reducing the VAT even further than the 12.5%. And we will do that with the IMF, and we will show them the plan that we have in mind, that we believe is not going to affect the income of the state, but is going to encourage even more investment into St. Lucia. The third issue I want to share with you, Tim, there is a memo that just came out from Grenada. And there's a company in Grenada that's very similar to Galaxy, and doing a development in Grenada. And the Grenadian government have given notices over the last 6 weeks that they have concerns with what that company was doing. And in particular, providing financing for the CIP program. So what is that, Tim? If somebody's going to buy a passport for $200,000, the company was saying, you pay $100,000 and then we'll put in the extra $100,000 in order for you to buy the passport. But it's never determined whether, in fact, the person ever has to pay back that loan. The disguise, the discounting that was taking place. So today, the government of Grenada has announced that they have suspended the license of that company, a Chinese company in Grenada, and have decided to review every single application and to determine for themselves when, in fact, the people paid the right price. Now, why is that important? That is important because when we saw this proposed list from the U.S. government banning citizens from certain countries from coming in there, and if you remember, Tim, it is alleged that St. Lucia will be on that list. But what was interesting is that Grenada was not on that list, even though it was a CIP program. I now understand what's going on. Clearly, the government of Grenada have taken the proposal of that list seriously, and serious enough things. And I think that that's exactly what the U.S. government would be expecting. Instead, we have a government that continues to defend the indefensible. There is discounting taking place in St. Lucia, and that is part of the court case that we have, that forms part of the court case that we have in the judicial review. There are allegations and proof that Galaxy has been doing the same thing, providing financing for persons, and we believe it is to circumvent the law take place. It's the same way, Tim, when they talk about the sovereign fund. One of the fundamentals of the sovereign fund, Tim, is that there be no political interference. Yet, the sovereign fund that was passed in legislation is full of the minister being involved, that the minister appoints the board, the minister selects the corporate secretary, the minister selects the custodian, and the minister selects the investment officer. And that you're going to take money now from our CIP program and put it into an entity that's fully controlled by the minister. And that is wrong. And this, again, creates an environment that allows people to circumvent the checks and balances that we have. It's the exact same thing that's taken with CIP and the exact same thing, Tim, that has taken place with the NLA. Instead of there being proper procedures to do these construction projects, the money was put into NLA to create an environment that there can be corruption. Now, it is for everybody to prove whether there is corruption, but they have not gone out of their way to protect the best interests of the people of St. Lucia. So I want to thank you for the opportunity, Tim. I'm hoping that we will all continue to stay alert as to what's taking place, because it clearly is that the intention of this government to use the IMF as an excuse to justify increasing even more taxes in this country. And you know what is criminal, Tim? Is that if in fact there is a need for them to do that, and would have spent $260 million on trying to fix up a building that we all knew, which is the St. Jude's Hospital, could not work. Whereas we could have spent $80 million more, and we would have been in the hospital already. And we see the same thing taking place with a multitude of projects where the government is overspending or giving away the resources of the state. This is a crisis, and this government has proven that they cannot even manage the country in good times. And I and everybody in this country should become concerned that with what is happening with Trump and the changes taking place in the world, and there's no longer any soft diplomacy, it is a hard diplomacy. Can we trust this government to navigate this country in the right direction? I thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much. Just so there from the leader of the parliamentary opposition. Let me turn my attention to you, Amanda. I think You really needed to come into the picture and provide us with an update as to what's happening in the chat room.
A few comments from Elliot Tim. Someone says there, wow, doesn't that just prove the point in Rick Wynn's article today in the store? Hypocrisy at its best. NewsSpin says there, don't worry, we have a sovereign wealth fund coming. Please let the IMF know that. Another comment here reads, see, Shas could have reasoned with the IMF, but this man is just putting us on a slippery slope. Someone says, Miss, you are not too bright on economic situation. The people voted for what they wanted. Shas is not coming back. A comment here reads, the opposition leader is not a consultant to the government. Let him save his ideas on his policies for when he gets in office. Troops. And NewsSpinner says here, but how are we in this state with the economist, the finance expert, PJP, at the helm? Another comment reads, do you all understand the IMF? Do you all know in whose interest the IMF functions? Until then, keep quiet. The IMF is designed for the economic colonization of seemingly vulnerable states like ours. Someone says there are very good points, caller. The IMF needs to address the main issues like corruption, crime, etc. and place direct actions on each island. Another comment here reads, you are right, my brother, because what I realize, the government is giving all our income away to outsiders and leaves all the tax to be paid by us, the citizens. And NewsSpinner says, I agree with this caller. The IMF has policies that don't seem to work for CARICOM countries.
We have a WhatsApp message. Somebody says the disposition by the minister just now is too late. He must disclose the opportunity cost for having advanced this far and now switching to another location. The right time is to keep the people informed today. Good afternoon to you. We have a call on WhatsApp. Rick Wayne, good afternoon. You are on the air.
I'm glad somebody mentioned my article. One of these days you're going to read one of my short articles on your show, Tim. It's very, very, very pertinent. Anyway.
Yes, I read the article, but I'll give it some attention next week. Godspeed.
Thank you very much for that. Tim, I'm not going to talk much on that because that's not really my video. But I thought Alan was very, very clear and sort of...
Talking about clear, you are not too clear, sir. Try to improve it. You're not too clear.
What?
You're not too clear. You're not... Yeah.
Am I clear now?
Better.
Oh, boy. I thought what Alan said there sort of expanded on what I am going to say. I'm going to say it anyway.
Pertaining to what?
The IMF is generally considered the lender of last resort.
Yes.
You know that?
Yeah.
You also know historically John Compton called himself and the IMF two male rats, and that they would never come together because they could not coexist, because the intentions of the IMF and his aspirations did not gel. You go to the IMF when you're unable to pay your bills, your debts and what else. You don't go to the IMF when you're shining. You go to the IMF because you can go nowhere else.
But let's make one thing clear. The government is not going to the IMF. It is that annually the IMF would issue reports on the governments, the member states. Okay, so you have the 2024 Article 4 consultation report. And in that report, it will be making certain assessments and also certain suggestions.
Well, sometimes the governments do go to the IMF.
Yes, they do.
Well, I was talking generally.
Mm-hmm.
I was not being specific at all. I was telling you what the IMF represents.
Right.
It represents austerity. And also, the IMF works closer with governments than it does with people. The IMF's concerns are mainly with the government. The government's concerns should be mainly with the people. Is that a reasonable assessment?
It is. It is, absolutely.
Because don't go to the IMF, the people elect the government, and the government is supposed to account to the people and see the people's needs. How the government does that depends on how good the government is, how efficient, how competent it is, or how waste of time it is that it has to seek resort from lenders of last resort. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. I would like to be very, very clear. So, what is going on right now, and we're surrounded by all kinds of misdirections and things. We denied information openly, I'm not going to tell you this, none of your business. All this kind of stuff is what we're living with, So we're left out to speculate on all kinds of stuff. Even that thing that just happened there with the cathedral. Shouldn't we have known that? Not cathedral,
the House of Justice.
The law courts.
The House of
Shouldn't that have been up front? We know more about people's underwear. We know about who is screwing who much better than we know about anything about those law courts or anything governmental. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah, because it's always very risky in today's world, Rick, not to disclose certain things to the people of the country, in this case, St. Lucia, when there's a chance that it will get out. And, and then you'll be embarrassed. You'll have to come now to explain.
The conviction term is that it will not get out, and if it gets out, we'll cover it up, or we won't pursue it, or there's no media to analyze it. That is the arrogance we're dealing with at this point in time, the arrogance that the country is encouraging with its silence. What's going on in Dominica? Do you really know what's going on in Dominica right now?
Well, there's a electoral reform legislation that is before the island's parliament.
And we're seeing some videos.
Yes, and we've seen some videos.
And we are left to interpret that as we feel, or whatever.
And the opposition does not believe that the government is going far enough with the efforts to reform the electoral laws of the country.
We know that basic stuff, but you and I know, Tim, there's a lot more going in Dominica than just that.
Yes.
Okay? But we should be getting, considering how close we are, considering the information avenues we have, we know next to nothing about something very dangerous going on next door. No?
What is missing, Rick, is, and I know we're getting back to some decades ago, having a functioning Caribbean news agency, having a functioning regional outlet like a Radio Antilles. They will be able to provide us with independent, verifiable information from whichever country where things of that nature are occurring. In this case, Dominica. So you cannot rely on the state radio station in Dominica, which is DBS, Dominica Broadcasting Service, to provide you with reliable information. But in the days of yore, you had one central location. You remember, and also you'd have spoken to people like Hugh Crosskill when you had the BBC Caribbean Report. Very independent, very effective, reliable, and we don't have that, unfortunately, right now.
Well, boy, it's Big Brother. It's Big Brother. And just again, the attitude toward the list that does not exist, for example, right? The list.
The American list.
Yeah, that doesn't exist.
Yes.
That the New York Times put in there. Tim, newspapers have all kinds of diverse ways of leaking stories. Either you're going to say a reliable source, or you're going to, a story so you can write it up your own. There are diverse ways. But to cut it short, the official word in the States, I think it was from the secretary, his press secretary, was that there is no list per se.
The state secretary.
State secretary.
Well,
but we are reviewing. But we are reviewing the situation. So what are they reviewing, Tim?
The
list.
Of course, it's something they're reviewing. They have to review something. Yes.
So she's saying, well, we didn't put out a list because it's leaked, but we are reviewing what's on the matters on the list. No?
That's what she's doing?
That's my understanding. I just wondered if it's yours too.
Because you must create a list in order to review. What are you reviewing? Is a set of countries you are reviewing?
But our country that discourages critical thinking to the point we have none of it, no self-discussion going on. We're going to discuss instead the processes of choosing candidates within political parties, as if I give a damn about that. I'm only interested in the candidate who's asking for my vote. But we get stuffed with that kind of stuff as distractions and smoke screens. And meanwhile, the important matters, the law courts, where Lisa had a show on last night with a gentleman from St. Kitts.
Stefan, yes, from St. Kitts.
What that man did not say was most revealing, Tim. what he did not say is most revealing. To just tell the Americans, well, we are friends, we can get over that. Just tell us what you need. But if we've had corruption to the point of millions of dollars allegedly going into people's private pockets at the expense of St. Lucia, there has to be an open court, an open adjudication of that. People going to prison or answering in one way or another before the confidence of the nation to begin with, let alone the other countries, can be restored. So you can't play games with that. So when there's a need arises for clarification, you don't say, trust me. You don't say, we are friends. We are not supposed to trust government. No government. They're supposed to be accountable to us and not threaten us either the moment we speak about your behavior. You take us to court. Or you threaten to take us to court, knowing very well most people don't want the stress, don't want the expense, don't have the money, and usually it's taxpayers paying for your stupid court case. How much longer? You know, I am watching Dominica, and I am particularly interested in Dominica to see how far the people take their anger. And we are being discouraged from being angry here. Anger is a natural emotion that usually has a trigger. So if you don't want anger in the country, don't castigate people for being angry. Examine your horns. Are you causing the anger that can go beyond your control? Is that reasonable?
It is, because it's
But
cause and
the
effect.
people with that crap over and over and over. Politicians must not be trusted, regardless of color. Not even the politicians in your own party, if you have the interests of your country at heart, or your own personal interests at heart. And finally, I want to go back to the IMF. The IMF invariably cooperates with the government so that the government can achieve what it wants to do, the heat it wants to put on the public, by agreeing with the IMF to paint things nicely and put it all on the IMF. In other words, the IMF doesn't care. Once the IMF directs that you do so and so, then you can tell the people, well, it's the IMF, you know. The IMF is not often when it's you who brought us there and you who have us in trouble. We need more professional discussion, and I don't mean that, Rick Wayne. I mean people in this country. We need to call people to speak for us, people who know about finance, people who, like the Minister of Finance who just spoke to you there. I would have liked to hear a little more about how the Ministry of Finance works, how the IMF works with them. But of course, even with the leader of the opposition, he will be reluctant to tell us how governments, ministries of finance and other departments work with the IMF, because he's going to be in there himself one day and may want to use the IMF as it is normally used. You see what I'm saying, Tim? So we always have to keep even our own party leaders, and when they become prime ministers, to keep their feet to the fire. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you so much. That was our final caller. It can always be very difficult sometimes, getting those people who specialize in certain subject areas to appear on programs like NewsSpin and Newsmaker Live and other talk shows, because they're afraid of repercussions, and also they're afraid that they will basically be of little use to the audience because they cannot speak their mind. Speaking their mind would result in them being critical of the government of the day, and we all know very often there'll be some kind of backlash, some negative fallout. Finally, our NewsSpin news of the day: Mexico recognizes Palestine, and it's being described as a historic gesture of solidarity. Mexico recognizes Palestine, and this is being described or being seen as a historic gesture of solidarity. That's the broadcast for today and this week. This has been another edition of the world's most monitored talk show, NewsSpin. My name is Timothy Poleon. Enjoy your weekend. Here's hoping that will be a safe one. And join us on Monday afternoon, 12:30. Goodbye.